Watch us on YouTube. Listen on your favourite podcast platform. Or ask your smart speaker to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
Start with Chris, add a dash of sport, squeeze in some music, then shake, don't stir. And you've got the ultimate blend, LTID, with your host, Chris.
It's pissing down here, which is quite apt really, because I'm totally and utterly fucking pissed off. What was that shower that I have just seen rain on our parade? How many rain jokes can I get in? What a load of absolute gobshite. Look, that's taken from the BBC website. Fans saying you're not fit to wear the shirt. Embarrassing, disgraceful, shameful, ashamed, awful. And they're just the ones that I can actually print. Do you know, I watched Everton after our game finished. 5 goals they scored. Yeah, that rings a bell, doesn't it? Fulham got 5. But Everton were playing Brighton. Now, Everton are a team who are in deep doo-doos, pretty much like us. But the difference between Everton and Leicester is they had players that wanted to fight for the shirt, that wanted to fight for the club, that wanted to keep the club in the top division. They had some pride for the people that had gone to support them, had travelled all the way down from Liverpool to the south coast to support them. They put a display on. They played like they wanted to stay in the Premier League. Our lot, fucking powder puff girls could play better than them. I hope, and I put this tweet out, and it was, Dear Leicester City players, I do hope you're watching Everton, because that is how we expect you to play. That is what we expect from our players. What did we get today? A load of fucking shit. There are players out there, not so long ago, Ndidi was being linked with Manchester United. He couldn't be linked with bloody Scunthorpe United now. And all right, let's take Dean Smith out of this. Let's take Dean Smith out of this, because you know what? He's come in on a situation where the previous manager had absolutely demoralised the squad. But one person has got to take a lot of blame for this. That is Top. God, we love that family. Of course we do. But it is on his watch that this club has been turned into a joke. A club that other clubs were looking and saying, that's the way we want our club to be run. We want to base our club and the way we run our club on the Leicester City model. Fucking model. Wheels coming off the wagons and all sorts. Want to see more of that? It is available on Leicester Till I Die TV, YouTube page. Not fit to wear the shirt is what it is called. It's still on the first playlist to pick, the first one there in the green. And you can hear me rant for about 45 minutes. And believe you me, rant I did. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day, goodbye, good night. What the fuck, who cares? We're here. Welcome along. It's LTID TV from Leicester Till I Die. We are live on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. And if you are listening via your favourite podcast station, whatever that may be, welcome along. You can find us at Leicester Till I Die on your favourite podcast platform, which, believe it or not, I didn't upload. There's so many. Let me put it this way: if I beat out every swear word, you'd have about a 5-minute show. So I couldn't upload it as a podcast. If you've got a smart speaker, just say, please play the podcast Leicester Till I Die. And as you can see there, you can follow us on all our different socials under LTID TV or Leicester Till I Die, one of the two, depending which one you want to follow us on. I'm still a bit pissed off, I'm not going to lie. Nate is in. Good evening, Nate. How are you? And Michael is in as well. Look, if you want to join the chat, at the end, we're going to probably open it up for a few people just to come on for a few minutes each. Just type in to your comments there, saying chat join, and I'll save it till later. And then hopefully, if we've got time at the end, we'll bring you in for your thoughts, which I'm sure you're going to have quite a few. As indeed will this man. I'll just bring him in and say, well, let's just say hello, Brad.
Yeah, so that's the best time you've ever used to not say good evening to me. Yeah, hello, Chris.
Indeed. I don't know if you've seen that, and I'm sorry that it looked like I was calling you a big shit at the start. But
All right.
I was pressing all the buttons because I got so many different things open, and but I don't know if you've seen it at all. My Life's a Pitch. So,
I've seen a bit of it. Yeah, I have seen it, and yeah, you wouldn't be able to get that on your Spotify.
Exactly, you wouldn't. No, when I upload the podcast, it says like, "Is there any swearing?" And I always ignore that because the odd swear word slips through. It is a footy channel after all. But no, those I just can't. I can't line up. But look, I did base it, and it is Tuesday today. So what does it mean if it's a Tuesday? Nobody knows. It's this.
Catch up with the BBC's Tuesday Talking Point. Every Tuesday from Leicester till LTiDtv. Only on the BBC's Leicester City webpage.
My friend there, all the way from South Africa. This is what I wrote. And normally I sort of, because they do edit it at that when they get it at the BBC, which is probably just as well, Brad. But I thought I'm going to not wait until the Tuesday morning, because we play Monday night. I get a bit of extension, and I thought, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to say what I think, and I sent it off to them, and again, please don't edit this. Just put it as it is, because it's how I'm feeling. So I'm just going to read this to you. This is what I wrote. As you can see there, my man of the match against Fulham, no one, not one single player deserved it. The most satisfying thing about this game was watching Chairman Top sat at Craven Cottage having to suffer it as well. But then again, it was on his watch that we have sunk this low. While Top stuck by Brendan Rodgers, they did edit a little bit out there, to be honest with you. While Top stuck by Brendan Rodgers, the team was careering out of control and towards the edge of the cliff. Now we are hanging off it. Tottenham gave their fans a refund for their performance at Newcastle. Might I suggest Top refunds the full cost of all season tickets bought, because that's how long we have been this bad. No, make that dreadful. Not fit to wear the shirt, embarrassing, ashamed, awful. These are just the words I can repeat that fans use to describe this debacle. I think the man squad should watch a video of the women's team, who may have lost to Arsenal, but each and every one of them showed more fight in that game than any of the men on that pitch at Fulham. What do players who are leaving or are out of contract have to play for? Apparently nothing, and it shows. Anything you would disagree with on that, Brad?
No, not really. Even your point about the women's game, he took an absolute wonder goal for them to not lose to Arsenal. It was a fantastic game, and maybe Willie Kirk can he do two jobs? Can do two jobs if Dean Smith don't fancy it if we go down, because he's inspired the ladies to. I mean, they've got Chelsea and Brighton left, but if things go according for the women, let's put it this way. And I know there's some people in the group, more on the Facebook side of it, you know where I'm going with this, Chris, that don't care about the women's game, and that's fine. It's not for everybody. I get that, but I'm just saying, if you're going to pick a Leicester side right now that's got more chance and I'm more confident in staying up, it's the women's. I am more confident that they will avoid the drop than the men's. Because right now, I'm going to give away a little insight to my predictions. Every game of the season, unless something dramatic happens in the game prior to it, I'm going for a defeat for us. Because after that Fulham game, give me something to hope for, and I'll back you. That's my statement. Because right now I've got no hope in Leicester staying up because I'm not seeing any hope in the players. So why should I have the hope?
Exactly. And look at that there. I mean, I pinched Jeff. If you're watching, you're not in yet, but if you are, I did pinch that idea off you. Black Monday. I've written there a disaster 12 months in the making. Fulham 5, Leicester 2. And if that wasn't bad enough, Brighton, I'm sorry, you need to give your ex a slap. And I'm not I'm not advocating violence against women here, but Jesus Christ, that's twice she's let us down in 3 weeks. Brighton 1, Everton 5. Sorry to bring it up, but and then Forest 4, Southampton 3. I mean, I left that at 3-1 to Forest, thinking it's all over. I'd have the heart attack if I'd stuck with that. I mean, it was literally Black Monday, wasn't it?
It really was. And what makes it worse is you haven't even given us 3 goals. You gave us 2. But apart from that, it's still bad. It's still bad. It's just, it looks a little bit better. Come on. Oh, God.
Fair point. I mean, that is, to be honest with you, it's a fair. You know, that's how depressed I've been. Give it me, please. Let me take that off. Thank you for pointing out my mistakes.
But wouldn't be me if I didn't, mate.
I've put at the bottom there, look, relegation looms for the Foxes. I think it does. I haven't seen one pundit, and we're going to be coming on to a couple of them in a bit that have been on the radio, but not one pundit that thinks that we'll actually stay up now.
Well, why would they? Why would they? Okay, you could maybe argue the Everton game and go, oh, well, yeah, but to be fair, Everton came at us. And you maybe could argue that. What did they see against Fulham that showed them, oh, yeah, Leicester got a chance against Newcastle. Oh, yeah, Leicester could do something against Liverpool. Oh, yeah, well, if they need it, they'll beat West Ham. No, that's all nothing. And that's what I'm saying. This isn't me being one of them fans that goes, oh, sod Leicester, I'm not supporting. No. Don't get it twisted. I don't care if we're in the Championship. I was a season ticket holder for League One. I don't have to justify it. No fan should. But here we go for them that maybe want to type away before they hear me finish speaking. Right? I will still follow my team. I will still back them to win the games. But in my heart of hearts, I'm thinking, you ain't showing me nothing that says you're going to. And why should any neutral fan that isn't an Everton, Leeds or Forest fan especially, because they're the ones that will be more interested in our results. But why would any neutral pundit look at Leicester and think they're safe, they'll stay up, they'll get the points they need? There's nothing to suggest that off the back of the Fulham game.
I've just been on, I've been in the chat on Maisie's channel, who's a Man United fan. And I actually said, I said the Premiership, it's so overrated. The Championship is, where it's all at. And I'm having to joke about it, because if I don't joke about it, I won't cry. Look, we've both been there when we went down to the 3rd tier. It is not the end of the world. We don't wake up in the morning thinking, is there going to be a bomb landing in our back garden or anything like that. So, but these players, I say, if your contract's up, or you've got at the end of the season, or you've only got a year to go, you can move on. We can't move on because it's our club. We're committed to it. We can't suddenly say, well, you know what? Somebody said in the chat, I hope you have. I was on Doug's earlier, well, again in the chat, and one of his mods said to me, I hope your day gets better, Chris. I said, well, only if I start supporting Everton. We joke about these things, but I asked a question, and I don't know whether it was a show you were on or I think it was Craig, but I'm not sure. It might have been you. It's all gone blurred into one. Was Fulham our last chance to get 3 points this season? Watching them the way we played, I can't see us getting another 1 point.
Well, that's the thing, Chris. You can't. Off that performance, ask me, did Leicester get any points on the last 3 games? And my answer is a straight up no. You're basing it off the Fulham performance, nothing to suggest it is. I think you asked it on the preview question you had us both on. That's probably why it felt like it merged into one.
Yes, forgetting you were doing. Yeah, you do.
But,
right, that's true.
Yeah, but before that, I could have. Now, no, I can't. I can't see us getting any more points this season.
No. And let's be honest, if you'd sort of, let's say, been on the moon or in Scotland or somewhere equally depressing over the bank holiday weekend, hello Scotland, to avoid the coronation, and you came back and you said, "Oh, 5-3, but yeah, we put up a fight there, didn't we?" No, we didn't. That was it. And yet, I'm looking here at the stats, and I know we don't like stats, but I want to use this as an example to say how stats can actually give you a false impression. I mean, when you look at that, James Maddison had the most shots. Now, that's another story completely because I think he can be greedy at the moment. Okay, Palmenia had 79. He had the most touches. But then final third touches, there was Harry Wilson. But then most passes about phase, 54. Most chances created, James Maddison, 5. Most interceptions, Kagla Soyuncu, 3. Most fouls, all right, not a good one to have, but at least we're putting his foot in. Harvey Barnes, 3. 17 shots to Fulham, 16 to us. 57-42% possession, which is a bit of a Brexit one. Corners too, we had more corners. We had 7 to the corners, so there too. If you were to look at that and then looking at the score, you'd be thinking, well done, Leicester. You put a fight up, but no.
No, they really didn't. The fact of the matter is we were 4-0 down. We got gifted 2 sloppy penalties. We only converted one of them as well, which makes it even worse. There was a horrendous back header that got Daka the chance to give the ball to Barnes. There was a bit of laziness about our first goal because, it looked like it was going out and Castagne swung his leg around and kept it in and it found Madders. It was a bit of fortune, but it scored the goals. But it pales in comparison. Dean Smith said it in his post-match and he was spot on. Fair play to him, he was spot on. Probably the Willian goal, the 5th goal, was the only one that was unavoidable for Leicester, and it just showed the lack of communication, the lack of understanding, the lack of, dare I say, brain cells at times with some of the things that happened. It's just a very it's a very damning game. That like I said, if you had no idea and didn't watch the game and just saw the score at the end, you think it was a good game. I tell you, that is the biggest mask of that is the scoreline. The biggest false lie to you is it was a competitive game that was end to end. I said it on the post on the not the post. I said it on the watch line, didn't I, Chris? It was Fulham's brilliance 5, Fulham's sloppiness 3.
Yeah, yes. We did not. We didn't. We got nothing from the game. We didn't deserve anything from the game. Tony's just said you lot are as bad as us, and that's swearing. At least there's no VAR next season. Well, knowing bloody Leicester's luck, they'll introduce it in the summer. Tony, you're more than welcome. I'm trying to think out because I've said who do you support. You've not come back to me yet. I'm guessing possibly Southampton from that comment. I don't know, but you're welcome anyway. You know me, I love a good conspiracy theory. So let me put this one to you. And I don't want to go into the actual ins and outs of the matches and all that too much because we did that on the preview. And to be quite honest with you, like I say, this is meant to be therapy. Otherwise, we'll be slitting our wrists at the end of it. But conspiracy theory for you here. Vardy wants to make Maddison feel better. So he misses the penalty for him. Oh, well, I think that silence says it all.
Yeah, I think that it's a bit of a stretch. I mean, I've got more chance of saying that Bigfoot was outside my window this morning than believing that. Oh, well, at least we got you next season, Tony. That'd be one way to look at it.
Come and keep in touch, Tony, because like I said before we came live, I think I was on the Southampton chat, and at least I was talking to them. They were doing the watch along, and I was popping in and out. And I said, it's going to be like starting a new school next season, and we see each other across the thing. Oh, we know him. Hello, how are you doing? So keep in touch, Tony. Nate says, what a feeling. Like during the 14-15 Great Escape season. No. It was We'll come on to that in a second. Actually, let me start that. I'm going to start that, Nate, and come back to that because that actually is a really good question and one that isn't deserves a bit of time to spend on it. But sorry, I was saying to you before that Vardy was trying to make Madison feel better by missing his penalty as well.
No, I don't think so at all. I think Vardy was absolutely fuming that he missed it because it would have been another two fingers up to Mr.
Pele.
Rogers, and yeah, you knew where I was going with it.
I did,
And
yeah.
and to those that were slandering Vardy, I know we'd knocked him throughout the season, but it's because the evidence in front of us was that he wasn't able to do it anymore, and clearly it was bad instructions.
I've got to say here, and I meant to do a post for it on Twitter, but I just never got round to it. I on this channel, and I think yourself a little bit as well, but I know I have been very critical of Jamie Vardy, saying it's over for him, he's not a first striker. And I was also very much a Danny Ward fan, thinking that I still stand by the fact that Schmeichel had to go. I do think it was the time for me that he had to go. And I thought Ward deserved his chance, and I think he took a lot of criticism. Apart from maybe the first goal against Fulham, where he was flapping, Everson though was done very, very well. And I've got to say, looks the better goalkeeper out of the two. So I will publicly on here apologise that to Vardy and to Everson. Vardy, he's got one season left on his contract. I don't think he'll go anywhere else. I think he'll just play that out and then sort of retire, live off his story, maybe do a bit of punditry. But these last couple of games, Dean Smith does seem to have just got something out of him, doesn't he?
He does, and if there's any light at the end of the tunnel for Leicester fans to somehow try and take going into this run out, is that we have got some grit and fight in certain players at least. It's not going to be enough, I don't think, so I was happy to say, but there is some glimmers and hopes and lights in that situation. We'll get to. I know we're going to get to it in a minute. I'm going to be a little bit critical of Iverson, but I am with you in a sense that fair play. He's made some blinding saves. He's proven that maybe he should have been given the opportunity, but I totally back and understand why Ward was given the opportunity. And yes, he made mistakes, but I don't think he did an awful lot wrong to warrant losing his place. But where we are now, depends where we are next season. It might be a good job we've given Iverson 10 or so games to stake his claim as our number one.
Yeah. I mean, and it's an old joke, but we've got to now accept that we are going to be shopping at Aldi and Lidl rather than Sainsbury's and Waitrose.
Yeah, but Leicester have proven before. Sometimes you go and shop at Aldi and Lidl, and it's better than the Tesco's and Asda. So
I mean, Boris said
who knows?
There, Brad. Well, I don't know whether you saw what he
I
said.
saw a bit of it.
Yeah. We're not recruiting the right players anymore. Fulham, Brighton and Brentford know how to recruit good players.
Not exact. No, that's not true. We know how to recruit good players. We've been recruiting good players for a while. Even in the midst of this debacle, Wout Faes has been a good purchase. All right, Tete hasn't exactly gone well, but we don't know how that deal is until the end of the season anyway, so we don't even know if we're going to pay anything for him at this point because it's a weird sort of loan structure. Souttar's looked all right. I don't know where this fatigue tiredness has come from that suddenly stopped him getting picked. Maybe it's just the fact that Cags has and always has been the better out the three of them. Well, four of them if you include Marty. Well, five of them if you include Evans. I won't go any further than that because Jestergaard isn't a footballer in my opinion.
I was waiting for that.
I beat you to it, but you know what I mean. Like maybe that's the only reason he's not being picked ahead of Dean Smith for Dean Smith's team. So no, I think we've been good at recruiting. We got to a point as a club, and I'm going to kind of go on a little bit of defense here, if you don't mind, Chris, of Top. He had no choice, given everything that happened in the last 3 years with the company that he runs, the football club, the COVID situation, the way it affected them. The club had no choice that if the step for progression was to be a team that tried and gave its all in terms of structuring itself to an appeal to become a top 4, top 5 club. People are saying, "Oh, why did they waste that 80 million from Harry Maguire in a training ground?" We needed that facility. Every player that's come through the door since that training ground facility, every member of staff that's come through the door since that training ground facility has gone, "My God, it's a brilliant facility. You go to join Leicester just for this facility." So don't tell me that we don't recruit anymore, because we do. We can recruit good players. We just haven't had a flux of players like we were used to. And B, don't look at a blamed in top on that aspect, because he did everything he could with his skills and his mind and his business sense to keep Leicester progressing as well as financially stable. Let's not forget the man writ off £196 million worth of debt for the club as well. So, that aspect I won't have.
I want to come back to top in a second, as a separate subject. But just on this about the players, when you sign a player, and let's remember, when we signed Mahrez, when we signed Vardy, when we signed N'Golo Kante, we were on the up. We'd either just stayed up in N'Golo Kante's case. With Vardy and Mahrez, we were doing well in the Championship. We were going for the title. So when you come into a team that's playing like that, it gives you an extra. I've been in sales most of my life, as I often say. And if I join or change teams and go to a team that is doing really well, I go in and think, yeah, great, and it gives you a boost. But if you go into a team that's struggling and at the bottom and not making sales, you start thinking, it gets you down, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're right, and I understand that, but there's a bit of a misconception, because I know, and I'm not picking on him. I promise you, Boris, I was not. Dak is a bit harsh, and Samore as well. They're both young. They've both been pissed around.
Up until Fulham was starting to look good.
Yeah, I will say that. I know what you're saying, though, Boris. It's frustrating, because the players themselves must feel a little bit pissed around. They were brought in. They had money spent on them. They were told they were the future, and one in particular, more Samore, was told, "Oh yeah, we've signed you." We signed him from a title-winning side. Now, I know people say Farmers French League, and I get that, I understand it, but it was done. It wasn't like we signed him. Well, yeah, the Mbappe League, as I like to call it. But no, it wasn't like he was a PSG third-string choice player that barely got a game, and that's how he won a title. It was at Lyon, wasn't it? Or was it Lyon or Lille? Whichever one of them it was that won it.
Sorry, mate. I'll bring you back. There you go.
Yeah, it was one of them two teams. He came here as a winner on a high, and he was given some false promise by the bell end, it seems.
Yeah.
Or tried to transform into a player he's not. And again, the head scratches. Why sign him if he's not a fit for what you want him to do? Sign a player that fits that.
Both Daka and Samori came from Championship winning sides in their respective countries, Austria and France. We know Daka can be a good player. Just go and ask was it Moscow?
CSK Moscow,
that he put 4 past. We also know that Barnes can be a good player. KDH can be a good player. Tielemans can be a good player. Under the bell end, none of them ended up being good players when he left. What does that tell you? I would say hello.
They were misused.
Yeah, I'm going to say hello to Doug. Good evening, Doug. 4-1, Doug. That hurt. Leicester 1, Liverpool 4. I'm backing Gorinda's 7-0 to Leicester. You'll hear it in a minute. But look, So, like I say, I don't think it's fair to criticise them. Samari was starting to look good. Daka's been a bit like Iheanacho. He's been getting 10 and 15 minutes here, and the odd game doesn't build your confidence up. And we say, I think with both of them, there's a good player in there. With Samari, he said that, I want him to play like this. Well, why don't you fucking buy a player that plays like that? I want... I want a Scotty dog. I don't go out and buy an Alsatian and try and cut his hair and turn him into a Scotty dog or whatever. You go out and buy what you want. And just before we get this into a Brendan rant here,
You were right, Brandon Rat.
It probably was, really. I can't see any players Rodgers, but what he brought in can't get in the side. Look, let's get past Perez. Let's get past Vestergaard, and let's get past Bertrand. All of those we know were Rodgers signings. Sumare, Tete, Sutar, Christensen were club signings. They were not chosen by Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers said, these are the positions I want, because they'd seen what had happened with Vestergaard and Bertrand. We hadn't got a director of we didn't have a director of football or whatever it is at that point, director of recruitment, because we'd sacked, one of them had left and the guy we were going for was put on gardening leave. But once he'd got into that position and he went, no, I'm picking the player. Those are potentially good signings, but they've come into a side that's just bloody awful at the moment. And so they are. But a good point from Steve here. I think the training ground will be the key to getting the best championship players to get us back up. Brad, look, you mentioned the training facility. What comes first, chicken or the egg? If we want to attract good players, we've got to have the training facilities.
Yeah, you do, and it sounds silly, but I mean, what was it? Mahrez who got away on a bike from St Mirren because their ground was awful, freezing cold. The training facilities were mud and awful. It does, and you've heard the players. You look at Sutar, FaZe, Tete, whoever you want. You could go back as far as to the day that training ground opened and go through every signings interview for Leicester, and they will tell you the training facilities are fantastic here at Leicester. And they put it across in a way that tells you that was one of the reasons they were sold on the dream. Because if you can go to a player who's maybe a woman and thinking, and I'll use it as an example, I could go to Brentford, they're in the Premiership, but Leicester, Leicester in the Championship, do I want to go there and earn my stripes and do it that way? Oh, look at their training ground now. I could be working on that. I could be having that machine. I could be having this. I could be having. I've got a physio. I've got my own personal doctor. I'm going into staff there with saying he's got. But you know what I mean. And sometimes a player might go, yeah, that's actually more inviting than being told you've got to go across the park to play, on like Clarendon Park or whatever.
Yeah.
For another club.
Totally agree. Like I say, you've got to have one to get the other, but then if you want to get the other, you got to have that. I mean, when you look at I joked earlier about Aldi and Waitrose, but when you look at the players that we've brought in from the lower divisions, and let's compare those to the players that we've brought in that have been top name players. So, we bought in the guy that we sold for nothing that sounds like spaghetti. Under Claudio Ranieri. Look, I mean, how many of his signings have we got? Slimani.
Slimani, yeah.
The
spaghetti.
Whatever he's called. But, I mean, how did he work out? Ibora. All these. Yeah, I mean, you then went into the 14-second rule with the I can't even remember the other guy. Silver.
But then Musa as well.
Yeah, all those players that sort of didn't the big names, if you like, and yet we go for the clubs, the smaller names. Oh, Jamie Vardy, where was he? When people say, "Oh, don't go," and we don't want these second-rate players. Jamie Vardy was fifth-rate. Mahrez, like you say, was in the B team. When we brought him in, was in the Chelsea reserves.
Chelsea reserves, yeah, and we had him on loan originally.
Yeah.
Matt Elliott was Oxford.
Yeah, but I could go on. James Justin was
Luton.
On the verge of getting in he was in the England team before he got injured. Came from Luton. So, and like you say, you made a very, very good point there. Just want to read a couple of things out before I get on to the next point. LCFC's in. Good evening. How are you? Great players don't need a great training facility.
Yes, they do. They'll demand it. They'll want quality to match their entity. I am telling you this now. You ask any sport's great, right? If they're going to sign for a club and you've got a Doyle's dishwater training ground, their answer's no. They want the best because they believe they're the best. Trust me, Boris. I know it sounds like they shouldn't. I know what I think. I know what you're trying to get at there, but they do. Trust me, they do. And it's not as simple as it sounds. They will want to go to a place that's got the quality training centre.
No, and A, it's the attraction, and B, if I've an athlete and or I'm just a fun run or whatever, and I've pulled a muscle or I've broken my leg, do I want to go to a Bupa hospital to get better, or do I want to go to an NHS? God love the NHS, of course I do, but if I'm given the choice, I know where I'd rather go. You know, I get that 1-to-1 and not having to. So look, Steve Smart's a good point here. Hi, Steve. How are you doing? After the game, Dean Smith was asked, "What did you say to the players after the game?" His response was, "Nothing. We'll talk tomorrow to the players. Does not concern you. It does me." He needs to be in their position and telling the players some home truths. I think the thing, though, for me, after that game, I'm not 100. I think I get what you mean there. You type like I talk. Right words, but not always in the right order. I think for me, Dean Smith would look at that and go, "Look, whatever I'm going to say now, it's not going to make any difference. I can sit and rant and rave at them, let them go home, let them stew on what's happened, let them worry." But when I was at work, if my boss said, "I want to see you at 9 o'clock in the morning," it was like, fucking hell, we're going home in half an hour. Do me now. See me. Oh, I can't see you now. See you. And then, you know what I mean? You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah. The thing is, you've literally summed it up there. There's only two ways a manager responds to that. And unfortunately, with times changed and people getting sensitive, you don't really see these managers anymore doing a Fergie or doing a Neil Warnock when he was at Sheffield United. You don't see them managers around. They're not around anymore. They're more of a myth than anything that these managers throw the water bottles around. The last time I saw a manager capable of throwing a water bottle around, he was moaning that England were 2-0 down to the effing Mexicans, and his name was Mike Bassett, and he's a fictional character.
Yeah. It is now. Now you cannot get away. Fergie could not get away with the hairdryer or kicking a cup of tea over Beckham or whatever you.
No, God, no, you wouldn't. And even if you could, I don't know if it's a response. You know the mentality of your group of players, and sometimes, and again, I've maybe been watching too many sport documentaries. I've been watching a lot of them recently, but you hear these greats. And I'll tell you, I've been watching Michael Jordan, The Last Dance one, and there was parts in that where it's like they just lost the game, and the coach, who's one of the best in the business in the NBA, for probably ever, especially during that era, at least, he's a legend. And they lost the game when they really should have won it. It was classed as an upset, really, in their road to a championship. And the players was just lying on the benches, with the headphones on, and the coach didn't say anything. He left them to it because he knew they'd lost. He knew they were pissed. He knew they were broken. He knew they were hurt by how badly they'd played and the fact they'd lost. And he said, "Practice tomorrow then." And that was it. Yeah. And sometimes you just need that approach with your players. Sometimes you need a approach where you just, I don't need to say anything. You almost look at them all silently as if to say, "I don't need to say anything, do I? Because you fucked up." Excuse my French to the ones listening on Spotify catching up on this, but that's what it's like. Sometimes you need, like you said, you need to have that playing at your mind going, "Oh, God, what's he going to do tomorrow? What's he going to do? I don't want it tomorrow. No, I'm not having it tomorrow." When he says that, I'm going to let it sink in, and I'm going to, it can work to fire you up. Yeah, that's exactly who it was. One of the greatest NBA coaches ever. He didn't scream and shout. I mean, he had Dennis Rodman. And if you know anything about the NBA, he was one of the most. Yeah, he was one of. I'm trying to think of not so much. He was way more wilder than him, but think Stan Collymore in his antics day.
Yeah,
in his antic days. But Phil Jackson just said it's Rodman. He can go to Vegas and come back and miss a practice. Because I know when I put him on the court, he's given the balls 110%. He's got Michael's back. He was one of the best rebounds of the 90s, if not, again, in the NBA career. And again, you can tell what I've been watching when I keep quoting them. But it's the same thing. Sometimes you've got to let these players just get loose and deal with it themselves.
Yes, yeah. No, you are quite right. And like I say, things move on. The days of, like you said, the Brian Cloughs or the Fergie or even the Mourinho's acting that way has unfortunately gone. I'm going to get a bit of stick for this. I don't think I deserve it because I think it's a valid point that I'm about to make. I know you defended the guy earlier, but I had a bit of a go at him in my BBC post. You know what's coming. You know where I'm going with this. But, okay, maybe I've gone a little bit extreme there. But Rome 64 AD or Leicester 2023 AD. Top has had a difficult time, I grant you, but then he's the head of a multi-billion pound company. And as such, he should be able to keep an eye on everything. And if he can't do it personally, and we know that, come on, he's hardly ever been here. I know I put the point. The good thing about the defeat to Fulham was that Top was there to see how we felt and heard the fans chanting, "You're not fit to wear the shirt." We'll see how many of them you think were when we look at the points later. But then he should be saying to Susan Whelan, he should be on the phone saying, "What the fuck's going on? What is going on?" Well, why are we sticking by Brendan? Blah blah blah, whatever. He has to take some of the blame. Like I say, I love him to bits. Obviously, like I always say, if he was here now, I'd bend over and have his kids. But he let himself down in the summer by not coming clean and explaining to all the fans what was going on. And I don't care. Once those fans are in that negative frame of mind, you ain't going to get them out of it unless you start off and be top of the league after 5 games. If he'd come out and explained, we would have all gone, fair point, Top. We understand. Yeah. But he didn't. But he should be, he said, "Look, I haven't got time to deal with this, Susan. It's your bag." And then Susan should be going to John Rudkin and saying, "What the bloody hell's happening? Why are all these players getting injured? Why are we this? Why are we that? Why are all these players out of contract? Why haven't we sorted out, new contracts?" Surely these three have got to take a fair bit of the blame.
They do, and you're not wrong. I don't think you deserve any stick for anything you said about Top in that regards, because that's where he has let us down. I only want to clarify some of the things that people are blaming for, which they're wrong to blame him for. Like, I saw a post saying, 2 years, this has been in the making. Why did you wait? No, you can't blame him for certain things.
That was
but
me.
The thing is,
with this one, I said it's been 12 months in the making.
No, it definitely wasn't you. This was a tweet I saw posted. This was more in depth on the spending and whatnot side of things. Yeah. And yes, he should have maybe, and I'm sure if he could go back in time, he would have handled the August situation better, because there was a few players that got told you're not wanted. We need to get rid of you. You're not wanted here. But here's the thing, right? And I'm gonna flip it on its head here. Does Richard Branson turn up to all his businesses every day? Does Richard Branson go into the office, or does he have 5, 6, 7, 100, whatever people that he paid?
Steps routine again, aren't you? 5,
well,
6,
yeah, I know. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? No. Hear me out, right? Any rich multi-billionaire company man, right? Does he turn up? Does he get up in the morning and go, "Oh, right, Christ, it's 6 o'clock. I own 2 businesses. I own 100 businesses." Whatever his number is, does he get up in the morning and go, "Right, I've got to attend and mummy cuddle every business," or does he get up in the morning and go, "Right, how's everything doing? I've got this to deal with. I've got that to deal with. I've got 2 members of staff or 100 members of staff, whatever it is, and we're going to use the 2 Tweedledee and Tweedledum behind him then. I don't give a fuck. I'll call them that, right? I don't even care if they ever listen to it or family.
Oh, he's frozen.
My phone just locked on me then. That was
Yeah, I was
weird.
going to say you froze then. I was just about to say, if anybody is watching, the views of Brad are not necessarily those of Leicester Till
Yeah.
TV.
But yeah, Tweedledee and Tweedledum there, right? He pays them a wage to kind of take the stress off him. He's got the King Power to run. He's got a rebuild from COVID. He's got he's got the plans that he had to work on and push through with the council. He's got his own family to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, and that doesn't happen overnight. Tweedledee and Tweedle fucking Dum there in the picture behind him. What are they earning their wages for? Because you talk about the likes of Vardy and that not fit to wear the shirt. Well, not Vardy, okay, but the rest of them not fit to wear the shirt and they're stealing 1,100 grand a week. These pair of twats are definitely stealing a living. Why aren't they telling him? Why aren't they coming out and saying Top isn't here right now? He's dealing with a very tough time with his family or whatever his reason is for not being here. This is the situation, Brendan. You are not going to have any money to spend. Is it really Top's fault he wasn't told that? Because he maybe thought they'll do it.
No, I agree 100%. In his defence, and I'm playing, let's say, devil's advocate here, his brother is vice chairman.
Yeah, so why isn't he?
Exactly. I actually, and this is the most scary thing, and I think you know they say when a lot of women all work together, all their periods merge into the same time.
They get in sync, yeah.
You and me are in sync. You and me are spending much too long together because last night I was watching a Richard Branson interview for the BBC. It was on BBC 3 or 4. It wasn't on one of the BBC 4, I think it was. And I couldn't be bothered to watch the Prince Andrew show, hour-long documentary. And I caught this, and he was being interviewed on his cruise ship. And I thought, by God,
lucky for some.
yeah. I thought that's great publicity because he's getting a lot of free publicity because they're following him around the cruise ship as part of it and what have you. He lives on Necker, right? And the guy said about him, he lives there because he's not, he doesn't have to pay taxes. And he came back and said, I've paid more taxes in my life than you planned, you know what, dinner sort of thing. But he said, well, I got all these businesses, but I run them from here because there's a thing called the internet. And I've got people that run them and I speak to them. And when I used to work for a company called Nielsen Travel, and they're based in Leicester, funnily enough, and they're no longer with us. He used to, Monday morning, ring up and speak to all of his managers. I was one of them. And have a quick description of how it had gone on the week before. That was his Monday morning, speaking to 20 of us for maybe 15, 20 minutes each to keep an idea of what was going on. And if he needed to then take that any further, but he knew he'd got us there making the decisions or going to him if there was something, we need to get rid of this person or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And that's what Susan Whelan and John Rudkin should have been doing. Susan Whelan was looking at contracts. John Rudkin was just saying, how come we're getting all these fucking injuries?
But sometimes you get too costly at a job.
He has been let down. You do. He has been let down, I think, by those two. But also, he needed to be a bit firmer. And maybe it's a learning exercise for him. But he does need... It's been on his watch, I'm afraid. And what I actually wrote for the BBC and they actually took out, that he let his love affair with Brendan Rodgers get in the way of decision-making. I don't know why they wouldn't put that in, because I'd actually I toned it down from bum buddies.
You did. Yeah, I get it.
Thank God for computers, backspace, love affair. But it's true, he does have to take his fair share.
Yeah, he still takes some responsibility, but I'm kind of playing the defence attorney, if you will, in that sense. In the case of if he's getting a phone,
why we work so well together.
I know, right?
Everything, yeah.
You could use that as the same example. What if for 6 months Top was told, "Oh, we got it, we handle it." Yeah, I know you concern Top. I know. Oh, yeah, yes, Lord Top. Oh, we'll lick your shoes, Top. Please don't sack me, Top, because I'm useless at my job, and if I get figured out, I'll never get a job again in football. Top. Yeah. That's probably what these pair of clowns are doing. If he's only got 15 minutes spare on his Monday, and that's what he gets told, he's going to go. What's he supposed to go? No, you're a liar. You're lying to me. unless he's got the proof. But yes, he should take more
But
responsibility, and
you
it
can
should have been
see, I
put
mean,
as a.
you know, if my boss had rung me up and said, like, you know, how's it going? How did it go in Bury, where I was at the time? Where was it? How's it going in Bury last week? So, you know, we had a great week. You know, everybody's pulling the weight, blah blah blah. And he goes, oh, brilliant. And then he goes and he's looking at the figures and he goes, oh, fucking hell, that was the worst performing shop in the group. What the fuck are you telling me you're doing well for? You know, so the proof was there in the fact that he's got the Premier League table in front of him. You know, but look, that was then. We are going to move on, and Leicester City has had its fair share of publicity these last couple of days, and I think to say that people have been phoning in stations and having their say. Some of them embarrassingly so, some of them you may agree with. We're going to be listening to a couple of those straight after this.
This podcast is proud to be part of the talkSPORT Fan Network. talkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Indeed. And I have to say, I'm going to thank talkSPORT for allowing me to use these. In fact, they even... I have an agreement with talkSPORT because obviously I'm part of the fan network. Anything I can use is off the website, but they hadn't put these up on the website, only on YouTube. I thought, I'm not going there again. I've had my hand slapped for using things on YouTube. But anyway, they very kindly sent it me so that it shouldn't pick up YouTube algorithm. This will take us off camera, unfortunately, Brad. I know all your adoring fans will go, oh, God. But here we go. I tell you, we're going to start off. We'll start off with the one, and this is love him or hate Simon Jordan. I actually love the guy. I do think he talks a lot of sense. He has been there, owned a club, lost a club. He does, and he backs up his arguments. You can never say that.
Oh, dollars for donuts, mate. Dollars for donuts, isn't he? That's what he's always saying.
Thing is, though,
I agree with you. I like him. I actually do like him.
But he's always, whenever he puts an argument over, he's got the facts and the figures to back his argument up. So this first one, he was talking with White and about who's going to get relegated this season.
That result, the Corey's performance, Dwight McNeil's performance, the energy and vitality of that performance has put Everton now in a rather better position than anyone anticipated they would be in, because if you look at the run-ins and start to say, forget Man City, right? Forget the Man City game, right? You look at Wolves and you look at Bournemouth and you think to yourself, neither one of these teams have anything to play for besides professionalism. Right. We can question that sometimes at the business back end of a season. So you start to move the dial saying they've just thrown themselves the biggest lifeline that anyone could have possibly contemplated, and put all the onus. I mean, obviously Forest did their job last night, but Leicester now Southampton are gone. Leeds is running, looks like, irrespective of the Sam factor, they've got real troubles.
Could be Leeds, could be Leicester. I mean, they look at what went on at the Amex and they're like, oof, now we're in trouble.
Well, you look at it and say it's difficult to see past them. Now, we've just seen a set of results. The Forest result, they had to win that game. I was with a group of Forest fans on the weekend, a good mates of mine. One of them I took to the Spurs game because he's a Forest fan when Spurs played Forest. And he said to me, we're very nervous about the game. But Forest have been better in recent weeks. They've been better both at home and away. They've been more determined. They've been quite unlucky. They were very unlucky against Brentford. Yeah. You know, they were stronger in that side away from home than they've been all season, yet they still managed to come out with defeat. Yeah. So now they've put themselves in a great position, and the pressure on Leicester and Leeds has just ramped up several notches.
Again, it has, hasn't it?
It has, and we only got ourselves to blame for that scenario. Everton, Fulham, Leeds. Okay, we did the job at Wolves, fair dues. But before that, again, this isn't a Dean Smith problem. This isn't suddenly a 6-game problem. This is a 35-game problem. We've had ample opportunities, ample false starts enough to have not even been in this situation. So unfortunately, you reap what you sow in football. And as much as I love this football club, and I know it would never question. You could question me all you like on it. You'll never, question my heart and love for this football club. But unfortunately, barring a miracle, you don't get out of this situation.
Yeah, LCFC, you just really annoyed me now. You made me feel older than I actually am. Remember listening to him and Darren Goff on the way back from school? I don't even remember. I
Darren
don't
Goff.
even remember him as being with Jim White. I'm gonna be
No,
honest with you.
Darren Goff has been on there recently. He has been on a few times. Darren Goff, God, Goffy, he was a great cricketer.
Yeah, he used
I
to
still,
do the drive time though with
he did, yeah, he did.
with a guy that was a Peterborough fan.
Oh, I can't remember his name. I
Couldn't go
don't
out
care.
in the
Sports
sun.
Peterborough.
He couldn't go out in the sun, which will give you a clue as to why I can't say because I'd be being called gingerist. There we go then.
Well, that's a strike. There you go. Hey, bowling for strikes, aren't you, Chris?
I am. It's like that. It's like that Monday morning. Come and see me in the office from your manager. This YouTube strikes, and then Maddison. Now, I've not been Maddison's biggest fan these last few weeks. I think he plays to the camera. I don't think he's playing for the club. And I think the fact that the fans were singing "You're not fit to wear the shirt," both I believe at halftime and full time, good. They should listen to how we feel. And the fact that he's gone off and boo-hooed and said, we're not hungry enough. Oh, it's been taken out of context. Well, whether it has or it hasn't. Because one of the people said to me, replying to me on Twitter, said just stay off social media. It's the best way. In fact, most of the Leicester players actually are off social media at the moment. But look, you touched on it before. As a fan, look, I got married years ago. You can divorce your partner. You can move on. You can find another partner. You have kids. You love your kids. But they grow up and leave home and even possibly even leave the country. And you end up having, staying in touch, having, your own separate lives. You can't swap your football club. James Maddison will go and play for another club. Harvey Barnes will. I don't think Vardy will. I think he'll just retire after us. We can't. Managers go to other clubs. But we are committed to the clubs that we support.
Yeah, because we're not a glory hunting based side. They're only teams that you could say, like Manchester, there's probably supported Manchester United and Man City over their lives. But yeah, you're right, Chris. The majority of actual fans, they don't switch clubs.
No. And I even would include Arsenal and Man United and Liverpool in that. Yes, you've got those that will watch them from the other side because they've only ever known them, success. But the true fans, and every club has the true fans that, followed Man United when Liverpool were the dominant force and followed Chelsea when they were in the second division.
Yeah.
Every club has that base of fans. And they all, and I want to say Simon Jordan let's really listen to what he said about Maddison.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about appetite and hunger. If you're not prepared to win your first battles and win the duels and be on the front foot, then you're not playing for the shirt the way you should, because those are the default settings. Ability and adversity and challenges and mistakes, those are things that happen, right? And you can't legislate for. But you can control. The one thing in life you can control is your own reaction to things in your mind. Right? And their approach to the game, talk about the hunger side of things, which has been extrapolated up to a lack of desire, and then he turns around and says, what I actually meant was we weren't competitive enough in our duels, we didn't win our battles, we didn't do the... Well, that's the same thing. It's the same thing, just dressed up in a slightly more palatable perspective. Hunger gets extrapolated up to there's no desire, but the desire that's required to meet the expectations of winning your duels, winning your battles, putting your best foot forward, it's the same thing in a different guise. He will be one of the first players on the train away from Leicester somewhere else. Don't you have the audacity to come on and talk about a lack of hunger or not winning duels, because you will be gone.
Again, hit the nail on the head, I think.
Yeah, and I think Maddison maybe needs to get told to stay off media, because I love the guy and he's great with media usually. And I will say this, I did at least... This is the first time when we've lost a game that Madders has had to do an interview that I actually felt Madders actually felt a little bit of hurt and maybe a little bit of embarrassment for himself, because there's one thing that we all love and hate about Maddison, right? He can turn a defender inside out and win us a free kick when it's necessary. But recently, more and more, when he gets taken down or he gets the ball taken off him, he spends 5 minutes crying about it. He spends 5 minutes slapping the floor. He takes an age to get up. He doesn't chase back, and then he spends 5 minutes moaning at the ref. You know, it's ridiculous. And
But
you
for
know what,
me,
Chris? I mean, maybe we won't have time to do it. I'm not saying on this show, but it'd be interesting if you fancy doing it, Chris. If we took the players that are leaving next season with the contracts going and looked at our main squad, if we built a team. Because I tell you, for now, even with 1 year left on his contract, I wouldn't have Madison in our team next season.
we will be doing another Snog, Marry, Avoid at the end of the season, which I think is what you're referring to.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking, more along the lines, and see
Yeah.
what we're left with.
Not Snog, Marry, Avoid, but keep, sell, or loan. You know. Can I just say here, you upset Ray so much that he's come back in today with the Canadian flag just to prove that he is
I'm
Canadian.
sorry, Ray. I'm sorry. It was the blue and the yellow and the white that made me think you were hiding in Edinburgh.
It did look like a bit of Scottish. I'm not going to disagree with you there, but yeah, we will certainly be doing that towards the post season. Probably after we've done your quiz against Steve Lynex, which
Oh, great! So kick me when I'm down.
oh yes, exactly.
It's my
Look,
own fault.
I think when he was talking about Madison, though, I think for me, yeah, he had the point. And look, Madison is frustrated. Don't get me wrong. If he goes past 3 players, twists, puts it up his arse, runs past another one, poos it out and shoots and scores, we love him. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a certain Riyad Mahrez. He could be absolutely fantastic, but then sometimes he would just take that one thing too many. And you're thinking, oh, why didn't you pass it? Knockout could be the same as well.
Yeah, I think the problem is with Madison, and it's not a bad trait to usually have, and it's not a trait that I'd ever discredit someone for having or not encourage them to have, if you will. But for me, I think he's just trying to do it all himself.
Yes.
How many times has certain positions, and it happened in the Fulham game, but you could go back over you could probably go back over all 35 games whenever Madison's played in them, and you could look at certain things, and I found myself at certain points in the game going, fuck, pass it to Barnes. Why didn't you pass? You know, he's had a shot, and it might have been a good save from the keeper, but I'm going, oh, it's a good shot, but if you'd give it Barnes or if you'd give it Daka, he was through. Why didn't he? It's not hesitation from Madison. It's almost a point of him going, no, I can do this. I want to be the Leicester hero. I want to be the one that the fans go, that's the guy who saved us. And you've got to knock up the head, son, because we're out of luck. We're out of time. We're out of resources. We need you doing the best for the team, not yourself. And if you're not going to do it, Madison not to play the last 3 games for me.
I'm actually going to argue with myself here, which I think I do very often. That way I'm guaranteed to win. But you know, I've not been Madison's biggest fan, and I've accused him of showboating, and as I said, you know, it's all about me, smiling for the camera, being happy when I lose the ball, and shaking everybody's hand when I come, well, not shaking hands, but smiling and arms around Demari Gray and what have you. And, I ended my Tuesday talking point for the BBC last week with smile for the camera, James. But then I've been thinking, and that's always a scary prospect. Never let me think. Keep messing with me, Brad. It stops me thinking. I can remember when I wasn't following Burnley, but I was living in Burnley at the time, and I wanted to watch football. I wanted to take my 2 children at that point, which were boys, to watch the football, whoever that happened to be. And it happened to be Burnley, because that's where I lived. And they had...
Poor sods.
Sorry?
Poor sods.
Yeah, I know. Yes, I know. Well, that's one of them doesn't like football, and one of them's ended up supporting Leicester. That says it all, Bert.
I don't know which one's got it worse. The one that doesn't like football.
I think the one that doesn't like football because he's in Thailand at the moment. So God bless him. Yeah. He's a sensible one. But no, I can remember, and Ian Wright was there for a bit, and I didn't notice it so much with Ian Wright, but then it had Paul Gascoigne, and Paul Gascoigne still had that belief that he could very easily. He was, because Burnley were in the Championship, and I've got to be honest with you, bottom half teams in the Premier League would have jumped at the chance to have Paul Gascoigne in their team. He was too good for the Championship. And that was the problem. He was too good for Burnley. And I'm no disrespect to Burnley. I'm not saying he's too good for Burnley. I mean for the Burnley players. Because he was up here and they were down there. And he was putting the ball through as if he was putting it through for Gary Lineker to go on to. And he didn't. He had Ashley Barnes or somebody. Bless him, good player, but different levels. And you watching, you're thinking, like, what the hell's he done there? And he was thinking 3 or 4 moves ahead like a chess player, and the Burnley players were like 2 or 3 moves behind him. And I'm just wondering if that's a little bit of Maddison as well. Is that maybe does he not have the confidence in the players around him? Look,
It seems to be that way.
And I think he'll go on and probably be England captain and have a great career. I'm just wondering if he maybe there's a little bit of that in him.
It seems that way because, like I said, it's become quite regular that he seems to show the mistrust in his teammates. If it's not a Vardy or a Barnes completely free, he doesn't seem to really want to trust them to pass them the ball. He doesn't feel that they're going to do what he knows he can do. If they can't match up to his level, why doesn't he take the chance on instead of them? But we're in a situation where we can't have that. It's funny you say that about Gascoigne because I listened to an interview that Paul Merson did when he was at his time at Walsall, and he says, I'm putting balls through and I'm forgetting I'm not passing to Henry anymore. I'm passing to some 35-year-old plumber who's overweight, and the fans, and he said the fans were going, you're this, Boy Wilson, you're this, and they're clapping and cheering a guy for heading a ball out for a corner, and I'm thinking, what's he done? I thought he was going to come out with Roy Keane and say it's his job, but he didn't. But no, it's similar.
The other thing with Paul Gascoigne, of course, was probably the Burnley players just couldn't understand him.
Well, yeah, probably. He was probably half drunk half the time. Bless him.
He sounds drunk. I mean, I went to see him at a night out. I've got a signed picture with him there. And, he was... I went with my son, and my son said, do you think he's drunk? And I said, no, it's just his accent.
It's just Gaza.
Yeah. But, look, if you're a Leicester fan, would you be a little bit annoyed at the moment?
Well, I am a Leicester fan.
Would you consider not going to watch them? Would you consider throwing your season ticket away?
I certainly wouldn't, mate. No matter how bad it's been, I would not be like Grabinder or whatever the name is of this pool you're going to bring on now.
Well, there's a couple of them. Grabinder comes on second. I think
it's old Bry next, isn't it?
Brian who starts first, and again with thanks to talkSPORT.
This podcast is proud to be part of the talkSPORT Fan Network. talkSPORT, powered by fans.
And again, people don't like Jason Cundy very much, and they use a certain other phrase for his surname. I've met him a couple of times because I used to be on his show. When we remember those days when we won that bloody thing. The good old days. And I was on the sports bar, and then I went to London twice and met him. He's a really, really nice guy, and Leicester fans, although he's always picking on Leicester. I say, well, what do you do if he picks on Leicester? Oh, we ring up and have a go at him. Well, exactly. That's his job, But again, another guy that, you can see, now that we can see YouTube, you can see when he's having a bit of a joke and a wind-up. Unfortunately, I haven't got the video, but...
I have seen it, though.
Yes, this is Brian on the sports bar.
Been there, season ticket 25 years, and that's the end now, because we know we're in the Championship now. There's no... Totally impossible to stay up. Totally impossible, because Everton and Forest only need one more win, and we won't catch them. I'm not going there. The Liverpool ticket, they can go straight in the bin.
What?
What do you
mean? Well, you're not going.
No, I'm not going to watch them play Liverpool. Get hammered them because they get hammered.
Well, hold on. You phoned up moaning, and you're going to throw your ticket in the bin when mathematically you can still stay in the league.
It's over, Jason. It's over.
It's not over. You're telling me that you're not going to go to see Liverpool play?
No.
You're not going to go?
No, I'm going to watch it on television and laugh my head off as the 7 goals go flashing in.
Who are you going to give your ticket to?
No one. I won't let them give
What, are you going to tear the ticket up?
Yeah.
Do you know what, Brian? You're a disgrace. Honestly.
So, Brian, you telling me you're not going to watch them in the Championship? You're going to bin your season ticket?
Oh, no way. I'm going to watch them in the Championship. Oh, God, no.
You're a disgrace.
If he has been watching them for 25 years, he would have watched them in the Championship and League One.
League One.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd have seen us lose playoff after playoff and the curse of the early 90s until the Derby County one.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not that far back. That's God, it feels like it was. I mean, I forget I'm 32 now, but yeah, I mean,
Oh, yeah, you old bastard.
yeah, but you were born when the club was invented, Chris. That's not my fault. But no, 25 years, and this is what makes you throw away your season ticket. I don't condone it at any level, but so you had your season ticket when we played Yeovil and Scunthorpe away, but getting potentially, and it is still a potential, no matter how we're feeling, potentially getting relegated in 2023 is where that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Moron alert!
Yeah, every club has one. Every club say has them, but it's when you're listening to them and you go, "Oh God, no!" I can remember. Yeah. I'm sorry if Dan, and I know Dan's probably not listening. He's got better things to do, like go and watch the open top bus ride for Burnley today, and well done to them. And I used to listen to the phone-ins, Radio Lancashire, and they had some good ones. But there used to be a guy on, and I can't remember his name. James Whale did it in Yorkshire, and there's another guy did it in Lancashire, and it was like the evening shows, sort of from 10 till 1 in the morning. So it was a little bit wild, and and the guy was very much sort of like, you don't know what you're talking about, goodbye, and put the phone down on people. And when everybody said, "Oh, and now we've got sort of say Jill from Burnley," you'd all just go, "Oh shit, it's a Burnley person."
Yeah,
it was like that. But if you think Brian is one of those, and I know I've tried to get you her name and address because I know you've taken a liking to her. But should we just have a listen to what Gurinder? This one's a little bit longer, but it's worth. I think it's worth it. This is Gurinder. Here we go.
Try and get him back.
Should we try and get Brian back?
We'll try and phone Brian back, see if he's changed his mind after listening to the fans and say sorry. Apologise to the nation. Let's go to a Leicester fan, Gurinder. All right, Gurinder.
Oh, she is. All right, Gurinder.
Hi. Hello.
How are you? How are you feeling?
I just want to say, Jason, that you're talking rubbish, absolute rubbish. Again, we are not just Leicester.
Go on.
Tell me, how are we just Leicester? In your words, tell me.
What do you mean? I said you're little old Leicester.
You are just Leicester.
Well, you are.
Tell me, what do you mean? Yeah, what is just Leicester?
Well, I mean, look, you heard what Brian had to say, right?
I didn't hear him, but anyway, yeah.
Didn't know what Brian... Where come you what I had to say?
I don't want to know what Brian's going to say. Well, I'm asking you, how are we just Leicester?
Because there needs to be context, Gurinder. You need to understand why I said it.
Hang on. We made our mark in history.
Yeah.
Chelsea fan. What did we do? We made our mark in history, didn't we?
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, absolutely. But there needs to be some context as to what.
I think, Gurinder, I think what he's trying to say is that I think Brian come on and it was a very bit entitled, like an entitled fan, and saying, well, Leicester City are Leicester City. There's no, they're not Man United, they're not Arsenal.
Without you knowing what Brian said, you're not going to fully understand why I said what I said.
I'm not going to listen to a Brian. Why am I going to listen to boring Brian?
You was mocking Leicester, though.
Well, so here's the deal, Gurinder, right? Brian phoned up and he said that he's not going to go. He's going to throw his ticket away. He's not going to go to the Liverpool game, and he's not going to go to any other game. He said he doesn't want to go and watch a Championship game, basically, right? And that made me... Say again?
Go on. I'm going to be there on Monday. I'm going to be there, Leicester, Liverpool. And do you know what? We're going to get 3 points. I've actually, wholeheartedly, I feel we're going to get 3 points. We are going to get
Brian's not going to be there. Brian's not going to be there.
Say again? Who cares about Brian?
I know, but you need to know what the conversation was about. You can't join a conversation without knowing what was said before you turned up. That's the point. What I was saying is, how dare Brian...
You pick Brian Brian up.
No, but-
Okay, Brian, if you're listening, I'll come and pick you up, yeah?
No, he don't want to go, Gurinder.
He's
He's ripping his ticket up. He doesn't want to go to the game.
Okay.
Right?
But
He thinks
I'm
he's going to get
gonna
beat
be there.
7-0.
Yeah, 7-0, he said.
Forget Brian. I'm going to be there, and it's all about me. Right, Leicester City players, we are going to beat Liverpool.
Have you worked out how far Rotherham is yet
one
next
thing I'm
season,
gonna-
Gurinder? Have you worked out how far Rotherham is yet for next season?
Okay, one thing I've got to agree with Brian.
Oh, you did hear Brian, did you? All of a sudden you own it.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch Championship football. No way.
What?
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 I'm not going to watch it. No.
Right,
Oh.
Gurinder, you are an absolute... Do you know what, right?
So you want to go and watch Liverpool play, but you won't go and watch them play Plymouth for next season or Rotherham?
Rotherham?
Rotherham, no. Do you know what? I'm Premier League. I am elite.
Oh, my God! Gurinder, you are an absolute... No, do you know what, Gurinder? You're a disgrace too. You're
These
worse.
Leicester City
not
fans.
No.
Great. I am proper elite.
No.
I am Gurinder.
What do you mean you're Gurinder? What do you mean you're proper elite? What are you talking about?
I'm elite.
Gurinder,
Yeah.
Gurinder,
And
yeah,
that Coventry fan, that Coventry fan, literally, what is his hatred above Leicester? They're not coming up. Coventry, you are not coming up.
Gurinder, honestly, you and Brian are separated at birth. You're a disgrace, Gurinder. I'm sorry.
No.
No.
Don't put me in that league.
No, you
I am
are.
You
elite.
just said you don't want to watch them play in the Championship next
Why
season.
am I going to watch Championship football? Why?
Because you're not good enough to stay in the Premier League. You've gone down.
She just give it, I'm Gurinder, I'm elite.
Oh,
What's all that
you know
about?
what? I work hard for my money. I work hard.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch Rotherham, Coventry
Do
City.
you know what, Gurinder?
No,
You are. Do you know what? Honestly,
This Leicester City
Leicester
fans.
City fans are tonight
Wow.
showing their true colours. You are a disgrace.
I'm not a disgrace. Eat your
Shocking.
words.
It's
Eat your
terrible.
words. Sunday, you're going to eat your words. We're going to beat Liverpool.
No, look,
I'm not a disgrace.
I don't care what you do or
are a
don't.
disgrace.
No, Gurinder, for you to phone up national radio and say that you are, my name's Gurinder and I'm elite. What's that all about?
Proper up there, right? I don't look beneath me, right?
What is going on here? What's happened? What's happened?
Gurinder, please tell me you're talking like Leicester, not yourself.
No.
Joe, I've got this vision in my mind of Gurinder got false eyelashes and sunglasses on making this phone call. She's got a Gucci handbag.
I'm not that. I'm not into lashes. You know what? I
Gurinder.
work hard, right?
But Gurinder,
I'm an
Gurinder.
independent woman. Yeah.
But
You
Gurinder,
got to watch your team wherever they are.
Gurinder.
Wherever they are, Gurinder, you got to watch them.
Yes, Gurinder.
I'm not going to watch Championship. That's beneath. No, thank you. I'm going to pay.
Honestly, do you know what,
My
Gurinder?
hard money.
Do you know what? You're
You know
worse
what
than
they
Brian.
do?
You're worse than Brian. You're worse than Brian.
I'm not.
No, you
I'm
are.
like
You
up
are,
there.
Gurinder. Yeah.
Stop it. Oh,
Yeah.
come on, Chelsea and you Spurs.
No, I don't want you, Gurinder.
You lot
I don't want
football.
Gurinder anywhere near Stamford Bridge.
I've just had a message come in here from Steve, the Saints fan. He said, "Is Karina Bryan's mum?"
No. Oh, really?
You're both a disgrace. Get out of here.
Honestly, this is terrible stuff.
Shocking for.
Oh, I hadn't listened to that all the way through.
In all my life, I have never felt so much second-hand embarrassment for someone in all my life. Gurinder needs to Gurinder in the bin.
I don't know.
I am Gurinder, hear me roar! That's what I was waiting for, mate. She was only a line away from that. God, Grinda, if you're watching, get on. We want you on here. 2 minutes on LTiDtv. I'll be Jason Cundy for it. You can be Simon Jordan. We'll have you on, Grinda. We'll get you and Brian on as a double act.
Well, the odd mum and son. I'm crying.
Oh. When she said her name and said she was elite, I didn't know she was into wrestling. I didn't know she was part of AEW. She was all elite. Oh. So she'll happily pay money to go and see us play Liverpool at West Ham, but Rotherham, the peasants, are not allowed. And that's tongue in cheek. If anyone knows anyone from Rotherham, or you live in Rotherham.
Sorry, I can't stop now. I was trying to work out whether she was actually being serious because she was laughing, whether she was just pissed or whether she was actually taking the piss.
You know what? I don't know what medication she's on or what alcohol she drinks, but I need to know what it is so I know what to avoid in my future. Oh, dear.
Well, I thought I wasn't expecting that. I've got to be honest with you. You know, Luke is in. He says, "God, I remember hearing that last night on the way home. Support your team in whichever league." Yeah, I've just got to say, Reese, who's my contact at talkSPORT, thank you so much for helping me out with that, mate. I really, really do appreciate that. I'm going to be like. I listened to the Brian one because that was a bit longer. I hadn't actually listened all the way. Oh, my chest hurts. If I disappear, Brad, I'm having a heart attack. Ring 999. Oh dear, bless. Honestly, every club's got them, haven't they? They really have.
We've got a village full of them by the sounds of things. I tell you what, I wish I'd have known it was on at that point, and I would have phoned in and changed their opinion on Leicester fans and ripped them pair to shreds, a pair of morons.
I was considering ringing up tonight, but I mean, what? And they followed each other. That was the stupid thing. I mean, yes, I know I was annoyed and what happened with that was just hilarious. But as they say,
I don't believe it.
No, I don't. Talking about
You're going to listen to that back after this, aren't you? It's going to keep you through.
Whenever I feel down or pissed off, I've got that.
Honestly, mate, go watch it on YouTube. Go find it on YouTube because I watched Jason Cundy and he was just like, what's his facial expressions? And he starts getting aggy. He starts bouncing on his chair like telling her off. It's brilliant.
You got to say, loving more age, you've got to agree with Jason Cundy. And I apologise, I can't remember who was with him, who does that show now with him because it's changed. But oh my God, that was funny.
Well, that's changed us all up, hasn't it?
I'm gonna save that for the watch along for Monday night. If I ever get a little bit down, that's coming on. If Liverpool score, that is coming on. Anyway, sorry, I can't. Right, bear with me. I'm going to be, and let me just have a drink. I'll calm down. Right, I think
you're elite, Chris. Calm down.
Start me off again. For God's sake.
Oh, well, I'm coming on the watch. I'm going to be like, we are elite if we're winning, Chris. Change my name. I don't want to be called Brad anymore. Call me Elite because that is my name. Oh.
To come on in wrestling.
I'm not a Leicester fan anymore. I'm a fan of the Elite. That's it.
Stop it now. We're not gonna mention Garinda's name or anything again for the rest of the
show. Garinda, get on YouTube. We'll have a laugh, love.
Right.
Right.
Here we go.
Back to the serious stuff.
Yeah, if we can, please, quickly. My career's going down the pan here. Okay. Talking of let's get back to being miserable. We're Leicester fans.
Oh, why can't we keep talking about the life of Brian and Garinda?
Life of Brian. fire.
He's a very stupid boy.
You've just joined him. What the hell?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you have no idea. If you've joined in just then, you have no idea. Go and watch it back, please. Oh. 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 Oh.
Please, come on, please now. Brian. Corinda's the mother. It says it.
Separated at birth, that had me, mate. Separated at birth. Oh.
Right. Look, before I'm going to have to move on. I really am. Right. Let's bring ourselves back down to earth. I mean, okay, we didn't. Alan Bennett, stop it, Dad.
My man of the match is now Gorinda. There you go. That's what I'm awarded to.
No,
Support.
good enough for Gorinda, obviously. Look.
In fact, people in the comments, who was your man of the match for the Fulham game? Was it Brian or Gorinda? Let's find out who you think was better. Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Oh. I'm dying here. I'm dying. Oh. I'm going to have to mute myself in a minute to stop this. Can't breathe. It's just Gorinda. I thought we weren't going to have fun doing this post-match.
Anybody's tuned in, Leicester lost.
yeah. We're in dire trouble of going down. It's hilarious, apparently. Oh.
I can't see. No.
I can't see either. Jesus. Oh.
Here we go.
Okay.
Right. Brian, man of the match.
There you go. Mike Green's got it. Oh, I'm going to have a headache. Oh, I have to stop laughing.
We should be elite. But anyway, I don't know. Excuse me. Right. According to Alan Bennett, who does our man of the match, is at the games. He messaged me after while we were doing the instant reaction and said he was struggling to pick one. He said, but if anybody just about for you, because at least he, put his foot in. And I said, well, if you feel that, are you happy to go with nobody? Because he's only ever done that once before this season. He went, no, I agree. So basically, we went with nobody. So nobody was good enough to still hurting. Nobody was good enough to get man of the match. Now he picks the man of the match, but then I do ask yourself to rate the players on their performance. So
yeah.
I wish I had time to nip off and make a graphic for Gorinda now.
Oh, God.
I don't. But let's have a look, and you can go through and say, for some of these, I can't argue with many of them. There's maybe one or two, and people might. Steve said she's running off on me, or do you mean rubbing off on you? I think we are too good to go down. We are elite history makers. No, honestly, if anybody says that word elite again, we're on a timeout. But anyway, these are the ratings that you sent through, and I've not wasted my afternoon, but I have run these graphics, so we're going to do it, even if we're here till midnight. I don't care. We're going to definitely do them. Mr. Everson, you gave him a 3.
Yeah, it's his only bad game he's had for us in terms of his performance. First goal's horrible. He made himself look like a reserve Sunday League goalkeeper mistake. They're the ones you see when you're scrolling through Facebook at 2 a.m. You're watching football funny videos and Sunday League videos. It was awful. The second goal, he does the one thing a goalkeeper doesn't do in that situation. He blinks first. He goes down. He thinks he's going to go near post. He goes across him. And you know what? I watched the goal back because at first I thought, oh, well, it didn't matter. he would have saved it. And he held his position. It wasn't the greatest of hit shot. The third goal, he's a bit slow getting across to where he should have been. It was just a bad game for him, I'm afraid. Rare bad game for him. Like I said, I've not had many 2 blocked against his career, but that was an awful performance.
Yeah. Do you think that? I mean, he did make a couple of good saves later on. I mean, it was. Didn't make any difference, really, did it? But
no.
Do you think three? I mean, obviously you do believe it because that's what you gave him.
Yeah, no, I stand by it. And at the end of the day, the one save he did make in the second half, he was scrambling across his goal anyway. The only reason it was hit straight at him is because he's lucky he's got fast feet, because it was panicked. No, he didn't do anything to warrant anything higher in my esteems. The fact is, Chris, you know from the group, the Facebook group, that people who slated me about my rating for Madders last week were thinking I was too generous this week, so I'm sticking by my 3.
You can't win, can you? Let's be honest.
No, Grinder would have backed me though.
do not start that again. I'm warning you. Okay, let me just get back onto this. And next of all, we had Mr. Castagna managed not to give away a penalty this week.
Oh well, yeah, that was why he got a 2 from me, because he's the only right back in the world I know that insists on trying to play centre back. He's out of position. We get exposed down his side more often than not. Well, definitely more than we did on the left hand side. Yes, he got the ball in to give the ball to Maddison for the assist, but it was a torrid performance. It was a backline disaster, and it's not the first time this season, I'm afraid. He was out of position. He was found wanting at points. You were scratching your head, probably screaming at the TV sometimes, going, where the hell is Castagna? Why isn't he dealing with it? You know, when the likes of Samare and Tillemans having to get back and do a job for him, that tells you how damning the performance was from him.
I've got to say, I agree totally 100% with you on this one. I feel that we are so vulnerable that, and I'm trying to put it in better words than I did during the watch along, but he likes to see, he's almost like playing centre back, because there's a number of times that there's somebody attacking down, you know, their left winger, left back, whoever is coming forward. Not just Fulham. This is any game that I've seen recently. He's not picking those players up. He's in, basically, he's up bloody about Faze's arse.
Yeah, he is, and that's not his job. Like I said, I don't know why. I don't know if he took a bang on the head at training or something, and maybe he's not been picked up on a scan, because he seems to have it in his head that he's a centre back and he's not being told to play right back. I don't know. I can't understand it, because I've never seen Castagna play this way before, and it just worries me that he keeps getting picked. I said before this game, funny enough, that keep the fit players out there, keep a majority of the squad the same for this run-in. And I want to see Ricardo Pereira picked for Liverpool, because he was just awful yet again.
Yes. No. It's not just this Fulham game. Like I said, it's been a few games now.
Yes, it has.
Talking of his bum buddy, about Faze, you gave him a 4.
It's going to sound weird because we conceded 5 goals, but he didn't do a lot wrong. He was exposed. The elite. You found the elite. I love it, Chris. I love it. You want to get the video of is it Miro? You'll know it if you search Miro and AEW when he makes his debut. You want to quote that and use that in a video for it. But anyway, back to the important things. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we conceded 5, but to be honest with you, the goals were, again, I agree with Dean Smith. Only one of the goals was avoidable. Was unavoidable because it was a great hit by William. He's been doing that all his career. But we got caught out on the ball. We got hit in our own. We were attacking twice for 5 of their goals, and they've gone and hit us on the break when the likes of Faze and Soyuncu were trying to push forward and be in our box or around our box to help out. So I couldn't give him a 5, because to me a 5 is a positive game. A 5 or higher means you've done all right or something. But Oh, excuse me. We lost and conceded 5. So that's why I just gave him a 4. This is probably, yeah, it's a 4. I think he gets for that.
Along with this, and you often say this, that if you give him one centre back a mark, you give another centre back the same.
Yeah, well, you had Gurinder and Brian. You now meet FaZe and Sontju. They're a pair. They're not separated at birth, although the hair might suggest otherwise.
They're an elite couple,
Yeah.
aren't they?
They are. They're an elite couple, separated at birth only by a strand of hair. But no, again, stop it, because I won't be able to concentrate. But no, Soyuncu again, he got stranded a bit. It was fault through teammates further up the pitch that probably left him in no man's land. But he kept covering. He made some vital tackles, and for me, what could have, and Fulham fans probably think should have, had they kept on going, been a horrendous scoreline, was in thanks to him and FaZe for not being that bad, I guess, and that's saying something when we conceded 5.
Yeah.
5.
If anybody wants to come on briefly at the end, just for a couple of minutes, just to put your own point across, do put chat join in the chat, and I will sort a link out for you. Next, we've got Mr. Christensen.
I thought it was right that he started. The problem is the rest of the team's momentum didn't match it. Christensen is the ideal left wing back if the midfield are going at 100 miles per hour, if the strikers are going at 100 miles per hour, if we're suffocating the opposition, and if we're almost playing the game like Everton did for 20 minutes against us. You know, if we play like that, Christensen's an ideal player and we get the best out of him. But when we play musical statues and allow the impetus of the team of Fulham to come at us like we did, he's utterly useless because he's stuck up the wrong end of the pitch because he's trying to give support to a bloke who's who at some points during that game gave less movement than a scarecrow in a field in Barnes. So he's wasted making runs forward because no matter how much he does this with his arms, he never gets the ball given to him. And he was caught out so much. And the only time they did go down his side to attack was because he was out of position. So not his fault in a way. Excuse me, Jesus Christ, I sneezed back again.
Bless you. I think it's me.
It's just a season. I'm allergic to the championship. That's what it is, mate.
You're allergic to being elite.
Yeah, that's what it is. But no, for me, not entirely his fault that I rated him so low because a lot of things were out of his control. But when you're out of position and when they attack and then they're scoring from starting attack on your side of the things, you're unfortunately left with part of the blame, and that's why I gave him such a low rating.
Yeah. Next up, we have Mr. Tielemans.
Very strange for me because this is the first time that again I feel a little bit harsh, but it's not really his fault in one aspect of it because he should be playing alongside Maddison. I'm not saying I'm a tactical genius, but I put them together up there, and I would have played them alongside each other as that sort of role or whatever. He's not a defensive-minded midfielder. He gives away needless fouls, and you don't need that. You need him being a pain in the ass near their box, not ours. He's wasted, and when he's played that position, and when Brandon's played him there, and when Dean Smith's played him there, he is the most ineffective player on that pitch for us. I'm not saying that he didn't try or anything. I'm not saying that he didn't put an effort in. I'm saying that when he plays as a centre mid and he's forced to spend 75 of the 90 minutes defending his own box, when really he should be the guy we're giving the ball to as an outlet to charge forward. How many times this season has he played in that position, and how many times this season have I given him a rating this or similar because of that?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. This was a bit disappointing, Mr. Samari, because he has had a few good games.
Yeah, I was really disappointed. He got a bit exposed. I think the fact that that we were so disjointed. We were clearly hungry and hadn't had our breakfast. That the players seemed to have no energy, and again, funny enough, a little bit of this rating's still harsh because how many times was he left 3-on-1? I know he gave the ball away at times. I know he was at fault for one of our goals, which he ultimately, collectively, is why I gave him such a poor rating. But some of these ratings is because someone else on the pitch or something else happened on the pitch that shot them in the foot, sort of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wasn't his greatest game. I hope he bounces back because I do like him and I do think he got the quality to do the job we're asking of him. But yeah, we got beat 5-3, mate, and we were 4-0 down after 52 minutes. Can any of these players in that middle part of the field really say much?
No. Now, this guy, one of your higher scores, and I'm a tad surprised. But the hungry man himself.
The thing is, I kind of agree with Simon Jordan in a little bit of context of what he said. He's just going about. He's trying. It seems like he's trying to do everything, and he seems like he's trying to also do everything right. But he's just going the wrong way about it. You know, when he's shooting and it's going straight at the goalkeeper, and he's not passing it to Christensen, or he's not passing it to Samore, or he's not passing it to it, and you're thinking, you should trust them. We know what you can do, Matters, but just give it someone else. If anything, give it them to give it you back. You know what I mean? Give it them so you can run into a better space and get even further into their half and do it that way. But he's just not, and it's just I saw what he was capable of. I saw what he was trying to do, but like Jordan said, he's just not applying it the right way.
No.
I don't think he had a bad game. I just think there was moments in that game where instead of crying about not getting a free kick and spitting his dummy out for 4 minutes, he should have been chasing the ball and not the referee around the pitch. But I did see some effort from him. And maybe I felt a bit of sympathy because I actually could see how much it hurt him doing that interview. That's the first time I saw some real emotion of embarrassment and hurt from him. So
I'm not laughing at you there. I'm actually laughing at Boris. He says, "Why have all our players got Mr. Spockets?"
I like that. I didn't notice that now. Oh well, beam me up, Brian. That's what I'll be saying.
And also, in case you're wondering why I'm being cocky in the background of the Premier League trophy, I'm making the most of it while I can. And I'm going to have to design a whole load of new graphics for next season, maybe including this one. Who knows? Who knows? I'm going to say, I've just seen you reply to me in private messages, mate. Don't start me off again. I missed that earlier. Doug is in, probably wondering what the hell's going on. Welcome to WWE, Doug. I'm extremely concerned about relegation for you guys. Not as fucking concerned as we are, mate.
Yeah. That makes 3 of us, Doug. Don't you worry, mate. And congratulations, Doug, on your news with your scan results and on your child. Well on that. Is that a Douglas Junior, sir? Is that going to be a Douglas Junior?
Apparently it is. I asked him in his chat earlier. I did say, is it going to be a boy, a girl, or a Sam Smith?
And to which you were muted for 5 minutes, weren't you?
Yeah. No, I actually wasn't. I got away with it. There's somebody I thought would go mad at it and didn't. But he then says, we haven't beaten you at the King Power since 2019. Well,
break. Don't worry, Doug. Dr. Leicester will see you now.
Yes. Right, so let's get back to our ratings. I'm starting to think about it again. Quickly, move on. Barnes, Mr. Barnes, he got a 6 from you. But then he gave me a couple of goals, didn't he?
Yeah, and that's always going to boost the rating because you can't downplay the fact that he took his goal well. He took both his goals well. To be fair to him, the thing is, I think it was Craig that said it on the preview show that the one thing that winds him up about Barnes is he doesn't play well on the wing, and it's something I've noted all season that teams have cottoned on to how we used to play Barnes, which was get him to run down the byline, and then when he was able to, cut in and drive towards the box, and he'd score, or he'd drill it across the box, and Vardy or Iheanacho or whoever would score, and it was great. Now teams have figured out how to plan for Barnes. He's not been, and it's weird because he's our top goal scorer, but he's not been as effective throughout the season as we'd like him to have been. But if you look at when he scored his goals, lo and behold, Chris, he wasn't tied down and anchored to the left side of the pitch. He was in the middle. He was in the box. He was there. He was where he was where he was most effective. And for the 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it was, he played in that position where he was a lot more effective. He got the 2 goals, and I'm not going to sit here and go, no, we were crap, we were this, he gets a 3 like the rest of them. He deserves a 6 because at least he did something. Well, we didn't cheer about it, but he gave us something to go, well, at least that happened on the way home, you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. I mean, somebody said, like, how could we not have a man of the match, when Barnes has got 2 goals?
Because it wasn't like the game went 2-1 Fulham, 3-1 Fulham, 3-2 Fulham, 3-all, 4-3, 5. It wasn't like a game that was backwards and forwards like the scorers that went. We were dead and buried, and Fulham went to the beach.
Yes.
And that's exactly, I'm sorry, but that's how it played out. Fulham went to the beach, and Marco Silva even said, we make us our own downfall. I can't remember his name. Apologies. He was a fantastic and very well spoken about our club. To be fair, the guy who we had on the watch along, the Fulham fan, and even he said at certain points, Emilio, that was it. I don't want to say his name wrong. At certain points, he was thinking, we're going to give these a route back into this, and that's how it ended up being. There was a little moment where you thought, God, are they going to bottle this, or are they going to do a Leicester and throw this away? Because if they do, that'd be great, but it didn't happen, obviously. But
no,
yeah, that's why I gave him a 6, because I think you need to make players that actually do something in a bad game stand out, and that's why I gave him a 6.
No, that's fine. Like I say, I was just saying somebody had mentioned because we hadn't picked a man of the match.
I did, didn't I, Chris? I did pick a man of the match.
You did. And in fairness, we'll give you a chance to mention that at the end. Obviously, we with the main man of the match, we stick with Alan because he's there.
Yes.
But you do.
I put in a little side one.
You will get a mention for that one at the end.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Mr. Pratt, you were not impressed with him, were you?
Did he even play? Because I barely knew he was on the pitch, and I hated it. I did, because I love Pratt. I think he's one of them players that we've talked about over the time where we felt their time at Leicester has been a bit rough. They've not played when we felt they should have. He's been really underrated and underappreciated because I think he has a lot to offer us, but he did nothing that game, and that's been his biggest problem. We big him up, we beg for him to get a chance, and the second he gets a start, I even put in brackets when I gave the ratings, didn't I, Chris? I even said to you, did he even play? Because I don't remember him touching the ball too many times.
It was disappointing because you feel like, this is that, his chances, he's it's almost like he's a bit like Damari Gray. He's better when he comes off the bench than actually starting.
Yeah, and I know players don't like that tag of super sub, but I'm sorry, but unfortunately he might be one of them players that brings more of an emphasis off the bench, because I was worried after about 30 minutes, and not just because of the scoreline, but I was thinking we're going to have a tannoy announcement for the whereabouts of Dennis Pratt. If he got missing, we're going to have to put wanted posters out.
Please bring him to the missing child desk.
Yeah. Because honestly, Chris, all joking aside, if you were a Leicester fan and you listened to the game, you'd have gone, I reckon, for about 20 minutes that game, you'd have gone, well, no wonder we're 3-0 down. We're playing with 10 men. Because you just didn't hear his name.
Yes.
You really didn't.
Coming up next, we've got...
Brian!
Well, actually, if you want, I can bring Gurinder in. I mean, wonderful woman. There we go. We'll have to listen to it again before the end of the show. We've got Mr. Vardy.
He missed a penalty, I know, but he won it as well, and he was back. He was still good. If there was anybody there that was still, if there was anybody there that came off at half time and full time that you could say that person's at least fit to wear the shirt, it's Jamie Vardy. And it's been Jamie Vardy for the last 3 or 4 games, and I cannot knock this guy for how he's managed to take in the change, embrace the change, and go with it. Because he could have just down tools to go, no, sod you, I'm done with this club. This comes pissed me off. They've not listened when I've spoken to them. They've kept the clown in charge. I ain't helping them. I've had enough. I'll retire at the end of the season. But he didn't. He picked his tools back up. He put his nose down to the grindstone. And you know what? Yeah, he missed a penalty. It wasn't as bad as a penalty as Maddison missed against Everton. So you can't even throw that one at me, people out there, before you say anything. Yeah, oh really? Oh really? Yeah, I know. If it was and that's the reason I kind of put him as one of my higher scorers, because out of all the players that deserved that chant aimed at them at half time, he was one that you say, well, he deserves to wear the shirt, because yeah.
Okay, we then come on to the subs. Tete, he isn't in goal because he's the best player. He's in goal because he's a sub. And just to show you that I do cock up, there we go. He's there again when I click on him, because I put him up twice. So good. Although his mark wouldn't suggest it, but so good, I put him up twice.
Yeah. I don't know. A few players tonight, I've said, have been a bit harshly done because some of the things are out of their control for why they had bad moments against them. Tete's kind of the reverse. Pratt was that absent that anything Tete did, even if it was just a fancy little, Rabona or whatever, roulette, that he took it around a player, and even the Fulham fans saw some of him and went, way, and he played his part in winning the second penalty. Pratt was that bad. I have to double his score. I had to. I'm sorry. He might not have been great. I'm not saying it was a great performance or any imagination, because if it was, he'd be in a 6 or higher category. But after the absence of Pratt, at least I knew Tete played. So that's why I gave him a 4, I'll be honest with you. And he did have some moments of flair. Not much, but
I wasn't overly impressed with him, as you know. But then, look, that's the game of football that we love, is the fact that we can both watch the same game. And somebody else had a go at me, I think it was in the post-match, saying that, were you watching a different game? And no, but we all have different opinions. And you've gone for 4. I probably wouldn't have done. But this is, you're the guy that picks the marks for them. All I will say though,
your
is
opinion is wrong.
there we go. Nah, that's coming from Gurinder.
Yeah, it's not elite enough.
No. Did you say the word elite?
I did.
This is what happens.
Oh dear.
Mr. Thomas, let's bring him up. There we go. No, sorry.
Spoilers. No, what have you done?
Mr. Daka.
Mr. Daka.
Yeah.
He's become a bit of a bit part substitute player, and that is he made runs, but he never got the ball. And when you don't expect him to get the ball, he seems to get given the ball, and it's very strange how we seem to play when Daka's on the field. for me, I mean, he was very quick to react to that Shane Duffy. I mean, I know Shane Duffy's 963 years of age, but when he headed the ball back, he showed something that could have easily just been a case of, whoa, oh, okay, the keeper's got it. He chased it down, he got a foot on it, he winged it back to Barnes, who made it 5-3 and put a bit of respect on the scoreline for us. And yeah, I think he did all right. I don't think he did anything amazing because he really couldn't. I mean, 5-2 down for crying out loud, I think, when he came on. But yeah, what I saw of him was all right. It was a better showing from Daka than we've probably seen in terms of involvement in goals.
Andreas, I have seen your question that you've repeated 4 times. We're in the middle of doing something at the moment, so we do not always respond to questions straight away, especially when it's on a completely different topic to the one that we are in the middle of discussing. I have seen it, but the chances that when you've asked it 5 times and I'm actually now going to ask it is probably very, very slim. There we go, Luke Thomas. This surprised me because you gave him a 5, and yet you gave Christensen, was it a 3?
Yeah, and I'm glad I get a chance to explain them because, again, Christensen was more not so much a fault of his own. It was more a fault of giving the ball away, him getting caught out, and you know, he has to take the shell of the blame because he wasn't able to get back. Thing is, the game was in a completely weird and different situation when Thomas came on, and it almost like Dean Smith regretted going for the attacking option on the left and thinking, oh, well, that didn't work. I need to go defensive and try as best I can to stop this being an absolute embarrassment. And I don't think he did that bad. I think he came on, he got a few decent tackles in. He was definitely more in his position than Christensen was. And again, I know Christensen is a little bit hard done by in terms of breakaways and us giving the ball away. But when you kind of need to stop the main artery from bleeding so you can get it, you know, save the life, you know, you need someone who can shut someone out. And he didn't do that bad for me. I mean, I thought he did all right. So that's why he got a 5.
Now, the player that I missed, which was why we had 2 Tetes, one Tete is not good enough. Why have one Tete when you can have 2 Tetes, eh? Was this gentleman, Mr. Ndidi, you gave a 4. I was screaming like mad. Why bring on another defensive midfielder when we needed to go for the win? Because look, if the game was lost, it was lost. We needed the points.
I think the problem is who could you have brought on after Dewsbury Hall came on? Who could really come on for Samare? I don't think that. I think maybe he made the wrong sort of substitutions. I think if you're going to give a block towards the manager for the performance and result, it would be the fact that he made the wrong personnel change at times. I think when he shuffled it around, he maybe should have just taken Samari off and put KDH on and left us without a central defensive midfielder. But I think when you're 3+ goals behind, you've got to make sure you stem it up. And the sad thing is, it's kind of the same reason I give Ndidi a 4. It's the same reason I gave Tete a 4. And that is because he was more involved and better than the guy he came on for. Yeah. And that was, Samare. So, yeah, that's why he got a 4.
Mr. KDH, finally, 5.
You talk about impact subs. I'm not sure if this is somebody who's going to become an impact sub. I don't think he is. I think he's just someone that needs to be managed a little bit and not played into the ground as he was under Brendan. And I kind of sympathise and get why you had to play him in the ground. I mean, when you've got 4 injuries by the time they get out of bed in the morning, you have to play your players that are available to you. I think he got a bit played to death that didn't help him making that big step. Oh, I've just thrown myself on the phone at it. I'm that angry at the rating. No.
You've not been very elite here. I expect
I'm not.
more of you.
It's because I live with Brian. You're going to do that every show, aren't you? But no, I thought he tried. He tried to get about a bit. He tried to win the ball in high areas. He did at times as well. He tried to put us on the front foot. I think he came on at a moment weirdly when there's no pressure. I know it sounds ridiculous, but in terms of the game's gone as far as they're concerned, and as far as every fan in the ground was concerned, the game was gone. Obviously, ultimately it was, but he was then given that freedom because they took the foot off the gas to drive at them and make them feel a little bit uneasy. And obviously it was gone ultimately in the end because Willian made it 5 before we had a chance to add notch another one ourselves. But yeah, I think he gave the flair and effort that if you're Dean Smith looking at what's unfolding in front of your eyes, you're looking for a player that you go, you're that sort of player that I know is going to die for this shirt for the next 3 games, regardless of other teams and their scores. You're going to die for this team to try and do everything to keep them in the Premiership. And I think maybe he's somebody that Dean Smith needs to go to, maybe Madison, maybe Tillemans. One of them, I'm sorry, who would, as much as we love and admire what they've done for this club and what we think of them as people, but maybe this is a time where you back you back your heart and soul players and not your they can do it if they turn up players. I think KDH put in a cameo performance to warrant going, lead them forward, drive them in that midfield.
I mean, look, 5-3. If that was 3-1, would we be as annoyed?
Again, it all depends on how you play because I think you're still annoyed. I think you are annoyed because we lost the game. I don't think the scoreline is the issue. I think you're still disappointed to lose the game, whether it's 3-1 or whether it is a 4-3 like the Forest game was last night. I think the most infuriating and upsetting thing is our scoreline does not reflect the effort. Because if it reflected the effort, our 9-0 record would have gone out the window.
Yeah.
Whereas at least Southampton might be a lost cause, and I'm sure the fans feel that, and I'm sure they pretty much are. Albeit, I think if we'd have somehow won that game, they'd have been mathematically probably down after this weekend results. I don't know. I can't be asked to do the maths and figure it out. But, at least Southampton fans can see their team are up for a fight and they're ready to keep fighting going into next season, wherever that may be, because they kept at Forest. We just didn't. And that's the thing. Lose 3-1, lose 1-0. It's like saying, if you win 1-0 or win 6-0, it don't make a monkey's difference. You still get the same points.
Yeah. I jokingly said on Doug's channel earlier, because it was a prediction show, I was in the chat, and I jokingly said, Leicester 0, Liverpool 10. I mean, if things go even slightly wrong, I don't think I'll be joking.
No, I tell you what will be interesting though, and I don't know if you'll want me on the preview or not, because it's Craig's show more than it ever is mine, because I do the watch alongs with you, and that's perfectly fine. But what will be interesting if it is on the watch along that we talk about it, it'll be interesting to see the team that he puts out.
Yeah,
because I just wonder if there's a few players that have been told, or not told, I guess, but we'll find out that they've written their last chapter as a Leicester City player after that performance.
Well, we will see. It will be interesting. He hasn't put the same team out for 2 games running yet, so we will see. We've been at this now 2 hours, thanks to Gurinder. So no. We did mention possibly doing a very, very quick end of season predictions very quickly. Who's going to win? Where we're going to end up? Do you want to do that, or do you have to get off?
I can do that, and then I could head off afterwards. I've got time to do that though.
Well, we won't go into each match with too much detail.
I'll tell you what. I'll keep it brief. I'll do a win, lose, draw.
Oh no, that's all you got to do anyway.
Oh, brilliant!
but no, I'm just saying. I'm just thinking of you and time. You see, but here we go. Typical Leicester Mercury. It's all on one side. So here we go for those fixtures then. Arsenal Brighton.
Arsenal win.
Villa Tottenham.
Draw.
Brentford West Ham.
Draw.
Yeah, that was a difficult one, I've got to admit. Chelsea Forest.
Oh, I can see Forest winning this. Chelsea.
Now, is this your head or is this your heart?
I don't know. They're having a punch up. So just go with Chelsea and move on before one of them wins.
I need your head with these, not your heart. Are we going head Chelsea? They did win at the weekend. They scored 3 goals.
Yeah, go on. Chelsea are going to do it. Chelsea are just going to edge it.
Yeah. Palace Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
Oh. Everton Man City.
Man City. Don't even stress about it. At least they've got Man City.
Leeds Newcastle.
No, Newcastle.
I know, yeah, you have to think though, don't you?
I did, but I do think Leeds are about as done as Southampton. I know it sounds ridiculous because on the same points as us, but they're probably shockingly worse than us.
And they've got the guy with the big flat face. Was it you said the other day?
No.
Leicester
God.
Liverpool. Ooh.
It's a shame you can't come back to me on this one, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't, unfortunately.
It would be so Leicestery, wouldn't it, of us to win this?
Yeah.
But I have to see sense, and going off the Fulham game. Oh, you know what? Vex to it. Let's live the dream. Let's live the dream. It's going to be
Let's go for a Leicester win.
No, Liverpool win.
I could go for the draw. I could see us getting
Yeah,
a draw.
go down the middle, mate. Because I can't do it. I just can't. Go for a draw.
Out with that one. I could see the draw happening. And that's pushing it a little bit. I think Doug's gone, thank God. Man United Wolves.
Man United.
Birmingham. Birmingham. I'm saying that's next season. Excuse me. Southampton Fulham.
Southampton.
No.
I just got a funny feeling they've got one more fight in the tank here, and I just think Fulham are going to be giddy.
Mitrovic is back. Piera is back.
Doesn't bother me.
Well,
Southampton.
I think I'm going to overrule you. But I'm not going to overrule you that much. But because I think it'll be a Fulham win, we're going to go for a draw.
Yeah, meet in the middle. Fairs. I can do that, yeah.
Yeah. Bournemouth, Man United.
Man U.
Yeah.
Should win that.
Brighton, Southampton. Oh, God.
Oh, for the way Brighton have been the last 2 games, I wish I could say Southampton are going to give them a kicking, but Brighton.
Still? Do you think that could be a draw?
Yeah. No, they're going to beat them because they're because Lynex is a bitch.
You're insistent. London Derby, Fulham Palace.
Fulham will win this.
Liverpool Villa.
Villa.
Oh.
That draw will inspire Man City. Get in the bin, Frank Lampard. That ain't happening.
Here we go. Newcastle Leicester.
Which half? Which half do you want me to do? Because we tend to win the second half when we get battered in the first. Newcastle.
Yeah, I think so. I can't argue with that. Forest Arsenal.
Arsenal.
God,
this is the only time I'm going to be so confident of Arsenal not fucking us in the arse.
Please, Craig, are you watching this? Not our Craig. You know which Craig I mean.
Yeah.
Tottenham Brentford.
Brentford. I still hate Spurs no matter what happens.
West. I don't think it matters anyway. West Ham Leeds. Ooh,
Draw.
really? Ooh, okay. Wolves Everton. Gotta be
Everton.
Wolves. No, I can't. No,
No, you asked me to do this in my head, and honestly, I think Wolves are done. They're safe.
We'll meet in the middle on that one.
All right, fine. We'll meet in the middle. But folks, just confirm. I think Everton are going to sweep that game.
No. Arsenal Wolves. Bloody hell, they're going to have a busy weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's because they're in gold, you see, Wolves. They're an elite club.
Oh, for God's sake.
And I can't win the sign up because I'm on another page.
I'm tempted to. You know what? This is where Arsenal throw it away. I'm going for a draw.
Okay. Villa Brighton.
I hope Villa wins 17-0.
You're not bitter still, are you?
It's just because out of all the teams they could have chose to lose, a match fixing Brighton, that'll keep us up. That's how we're staying in the Premiership, match fixing. Steve Cooper paid Brighton enough to drop their games against them and Everton. So I hope Villa smash into pieces.
Brentford Man City.
Man City.
Chelsea Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Crystal Palace Forest. You can't. It's away from home. They're shit away from home.
Palace.
I'd have taken a draw from you. Everton Bournemouth.
Everton.
Really?
Yeah, I just can't see them not winning.
I'll give you that one because I insisted on the draw earlier. Leeds Tottenham.
You
can't. No. You come on. Which one do you hate more? Come on now, Steve.
Tottenham. Give the win to Tottenham, but I'm not happy about it. If they can get 0 points for a draw, I'd go for a draw, but I can't.
No. Leicester West Ham.
Wow, I mean, Grinder will be very happy with my predictions because we will be staying with the.
Be careful.
Yeah.
It's Grinder.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Yeah. Grinder.
I don't know about your apps. Thank you very much.
Grinder Ibinder. That's what her name should be. But Garinda's going to be very happy. She won't have to plan trips. Well, not that she was going to, but she wouldn't have to think about dreaded away days to Plymouth Argyle and Rotherham because Leicester City are going to beat West Ham. Why not?
We're going to stay up, but the only hope for the home win. Man United for Garinda. You do realise where you nearly went with that, don't you?
Yeah, I do. All right, yeah, okay.
Man United Fulham, and you've been a
draw.
Man of the God as well. You're going for a draw. Ooh,
yeah, but my sins, I confess all your sins, so it's okay.
Oh, that's all right. Southampton Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Newcastle Brighton.
Newcastle 12-0.
Man City Brighton.
Oh, Man City Brighton. Man City 37-0. Ireland's going to score as many goals as he scored all season past them. Twat bagging club.
Man United Chelsea.
Draw. 0-0.
This is going to get. These are the last games. I'm dreading the table coming up. Here we go.
Are we in Europe yet?
No thanks. I just want the results. Oh, you got Man City have won the Premier League.
I've said that from the day one, so.
Arsenal, wow, 6 points behind Arsenal. Oh, I don't think you can see that, can you?
Not clearly, but I don't care. I can see their first and their second. That'll piss Anthony off.
Arsenal's on the screen, yeah. Anthony will be hating you as much as he hates me at the moment. Third is Newcastle. Fourth is Man United. Fifth is Liverpool, and then you get in the Europa League. You got Tottenham in sixth and get in the conference.
And then they'll lose that.
Right? Oh no, we haven't got the conference here. We don't even know if it'll be ahead or not. Brighton are eighth, so Tottenham sixth, Villa seventh, Brighton eighth, So Brighton will miss out on Europe. I think Villa might just get it. I'm not sure. Brentford 9th, missing out as well. Fulham 10th. It's getting a bit tight. Only if... Oh, hang on a second. You know, we need some... let me just see if I can get some form of background music on here. You know what we should have, don't you?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
No.
I thought so.
Music. No, I can't. No, I was going to add the, Babe Station music.
Oh, for God's sake.
But I can't. Bugger it. And then we're back to Grinder then, aren't we, with that? Okay, so Fulham are in 10th. This is where it's getting exciting. And we'll be right back after this. Chelsea 11th. Palace 12th. God. Bournemouth 13th. Wolves 14th. West Ham 15th. Oh, God. You've relegated us, Brad, and we do go down. I'm blaming you. Everton 16th. Oh, my God. What have you done to us, Brad? I can't. Hang on, I need to get a sofa to hide behind. Please.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, yes. In 17th, and the finally staying up is Leicester City on 34 points. Oh, my God. Oh. Nottingham Forest are in 18th on 33. Leeds in 19th on 31. Southampton bottom on 25. I was nearly going to be gunning for you then. It was.
Oh,
God.
I'm sorry.
I think I had to rein you in, otherwise you would have had us in Champions League places. I'd take that.
Oh yeah, I would now. Give me that now. Send that in to the what was it, UEFA? That allegedly don't take bribes, but allegedly they do.
Of course they do. As we say, take that and party. Brad, you are a gentleman, sir. It's been a long one, and I'm sure
That's what my ex said about me as well.
I'm going to say, yeah, and Gurinder.
She's too elite for this channel, mate.
Yeah, we're never going to get Gurinder on. If anybody out there knows Gurinder, please tell her to get.
Don't show her this show.
We want Gurinder. We want Gurinder.
Should we try and get Brian back on?
We'll try and phone Brian back, see if he's changed his mind after listening to the fans and say sorry. Apologise to the nation. Let's go to a Leicester fan, Gurinder. All right, Gurinder.
Oh, she is. All right, Gurinder.
Hi. Hello.
How are you?
There we go. I can't play it all again as much as I want to. Doug, thank you so very much, sir. It's been therapeutic. I never thought I'd have this much fun talking about a Leicester loss.
No, I know, right? Maybe it's because we've not got our elite badges, mate. But I just enjoyed this show.
Yes, you're quite right. And just for you, oh, you've gone. Just for you, here she is.
Good old Gurinder.
It's that look on her. Isn't it? We love Gurinder.
Self-entitlement look.
Yes. Or Grinder, whichever way you want to go with her. At Full-Time Focus, that's how people can find you.
Yes, it is, and that's the best way to get involved with the Predictions League next season, as Chris has mentioned a few times. So follow me on there, if nothing else, than to be a part of that. And you'll catch all my antics on social media on there. So yeah, get us on there.
You do. Well, you have got a YouTube channel, but it is going to be changing, so we will wait on that.
Yes.
If you can send me last week's predictions and the cumulative totals as well.
It isn't that high, mate.
I know.
Don't be think. Yeah, don't be. Don't. Let's just put it this way, mate. I can tell you for this much. I don't need to take me socks and shoes off to add up the points.
Oh, that's a relief.
I barely have to take one hand out of the pocket. I'll be honest with you.
You keep your hand in your pocket, mate. Check your loose change. Anyway, mate, thanks very much. And what day are we on? I think I might have to have a day off tomorrow. And I think on Thursday we're going to be all right for the predictions, for the preview. And then I've got them on a Liverpool show on Thursday. Got out on Friday. Got out.
Oh yeah, God! Are you on the same one as me with Stephen?
Yes, Mr. Stubb.
Yeah, he's lured me into it. I'm on that with Steve.
Yeah. So there's you and me. Well, at least we'll have moral support.
Oh yeah, we can both call the Samaritans at the same time. Just don't get in front of my line, or I'll cut yours.
I'll try and bring Gurinder in.
I'll get Brian. see if his mum will let him out to play.
Actually, I think he's sharing it with me, so I think I'll be able to actually play Gurinder for him. So,
oh, that'd be brilliant.
Because she does go on about Liverpool. But mate, you get to bed. Thank you so very much, and I'll speak to you before, but I will see you twice on Friday.
See you twice on Friday, mate.
All the best, mate.
Take care.
Cheers. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Oh, thanks to Brad. Yeah, I don't know where that just went. That just went off in a totally different direction today. If you joined us midway through and wonder what the hell was going on, yes, we wonder that every time. But a big, huge thank you to talkSPORT for allowing me to do that. And of course, do not forget, if you are listening to our podcasts, we are on the talkSPORT Fan Network.
Leicester till I...
Oh, that was the wrong one.
This podcast is proud to be part of the talkSPORT Fan Network. talkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Thanks to Brad for joining us. Thanks to Gurinder for joining us as well. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Too many to mention, but thank you all for joining in. Look, Andreas, come on to the show on Thursday and we'll discuss what you were asking them. But we're in the middle of doing a chart and you asked 5 times and we weren't going to start doing what we were doing to answer it. But thanks to everybody that was in. If you're listening to it on podcast, your favourite podcast platform, thank you so very, very much. It is much appreciated. And if you please do subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 2K. I don't think we'll get there before the end of the season. I don't think we've got long enough left. But please do subscribe. Smash that like button. I say it all the time, but it really, really does help the channel. Click the notification bell. Then you will never miss a show. And if you want to, for just $1.99, why not become a member and join us? $1.99 a month. And when we get enough members, we will be doing some member-only shows as well. I will see you probably now going to be Thursday at what day are we on here? I'm totally lost. That was Everton. That was Fulham. 8 o'clock on Thursday, I think. Click the notification bell, then you'll never miss it. I really do appreciate everybody for coming on. Thank you so very much. This has been LTID TV. I've been Chris. This is Marilyn. Good night.
These videos are so dreamy. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification bell.
This podcast is proud to be part of the talkSPORT Fan Network. talkSPORT. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.